Hello YouTube, and welcome to my 1024 subscriber special. I really appreciate everyone helping me to reach this milestone, so I'm doing something extra special for this video. I'm doing a hair reveal, and I'm showcasing something I built all the way back in 2003, a full 2 years before YouTube existed. Without further ado, I proudly present my wind-powered car. This car works using a cup anemometer airfoil, which I made out of construction paper. The rotation of the airfoil is transferred to the back wheels by two meshing gears. The gears you see near the driver are just there for storage, in case I want to experiment with different ratios. I found that the lowest ratio, which spins the wheels only once for every 3 rotations of the airfoil, works best. But the reason I built this car was to find out if it's possible to drive a wind-powered car directly into the wind, and surprisingly, it is. The fan is blowing the car away, yet the car drives toward the fan anyway. The way sailboats journey against the wind is also interesting. They do a process called tacking, in which they get lateral force out of a headwind and redirect it into forward motion using a keel. I'll link to a really good video that explains it in detail and shows it in action using models. Tacking requires the pilot to weave back and forth though. Going straight into the wind, as far as I know, is unique to this car. I even managed to get the car to drive in a complete circle without having to move the fan. You might notice that the speed is inconsistent, with lulls and accelerations, and occasionally the car even stops for a moment. The air from the fan seemed to spread outward rather than go straight forward, so I think that created turbulence with the ground, which would explain this chaotic behavior. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching my wind-powered car. But this wouldn't be a complete video without at least one Besiege machine. This is my first ever multi-bomber, which I called Cloud 9 because it carries 9 bombs. I built it about a month after I got Besiege, around the same time I built the Minesweeper. The idea was to build a stable flyer that would hold plenty of bombs, so you could stay up high and obliterate destructive zones without having to come back down. Cloud 9 has a couple of holdovers from the early days of Besiege. For one, I actually passed up a chance to add a couple flying spirals to make it go faster. When I built this, there were only the 15 zones of Ypsilon and the old sandbox, which were too small for Cloud 9's slowness to be noticeable. You can add the fans yourself if you want, but you have to get around the strange hit detection with the ballast blocks. Another holdover from the past is the use of flamethrowers on the bottom. At the time I built this, there was a glitch that gave you infinite flamethrower, which made it a great backup weapon in case you ran out of bombs. Sometimes the enemy's own cannon works too. I also have a new machine to celebrate my 2 to the 10th power sub benchmark. I proudly present my new vanilla motorcycle, the Narrow Arrow. I built the Narrow Arrow to be more stable and user-friendly than my previous vanilla motorcycle, the Biking Viking. Also, I believe it's the only vanilla motorcycle in Besiege with wheels that are only 1 block wide. It includes 1 flying spiral for downforce, but it's really only needed for mountain climbing. Climbing mountains is a fun challenge with this bike because it's not easy like it would be with a full wall climber, but with enough patience, it's possible to reach any summit. The Narrow Arrow also includes a crossbow, because as a biker, you have to be armed. The bike hinges vertically in the middle, which lets you aim the crossbow, and helps when going over some obstacles. In case you want even more firepower, the bike can remain surprisingly stable even with 2 heavy cannons added. It can even still climb with the extra weight, although it is top heavy because cannons are very heavy in this game. You might be wondering how I got this bike to balance so well, but I'll never give away the secret. It shall forever remain a mystery. My original plan was to hold on to the Narrow Arrow until the next update, hoping a couple suggestions would be implemented that would help me improve the design. But I won't be getting to another big round number of subscribers until 2048, so I really wanted to give you guys a good new machine for this video, and this is my best new design. One suggestion was to add a hide visuals option for braces like the pin block has, so you can make them invisible if you want. Every other block can be hidden with the invisible skin pack, so it would be cool if we could do the same with braces. If it's ever implemented, I'll update this bike to make the balancing braces invisible. Another suggestion that's been popular for a long time was brought up again recently, a return to center option for the steering hinge. If implemented, that would let me build an entire bike that's only one block wide. Technically I can do it now, but it's surprisingly hard to control without return to center steering. If you're interested in these suggestions, you can visit the forum links below. What you're seeing now is one of the many versions of my Narrow motorcycle that I built before settling on the Narrow Aero design. It has 3 fans for downforce, making it a full wall climber. It also steers with a steering hinge, and it has a sail that turns with the front wheel to make it extremely stable. But it's surprisingly difficult to keep track of which way the front wheel is facing for precise control, so I'm waiting for a return to center option for the steering hinges before I upload this bike. Thanks for watching my 2 to the 10th power subscriber special. I hope you enjoyed the video and my new machines.